1971 wasn't just another year. It was the year rock music shattered its own limits. The idealism of the 60s had curdled into something darker, more complex. This was the year rock grew fangs, embraced synthesizers, flirted with classical structures, and birthed entire subgenres in real time. It was a chaotic, brilliant explosion. This is WoodsRock, and today we're diving deep into 13 breakthrough songs that made 1971 absolutely legendary. If you lived through it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitter.
Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin.
And she's buying the stairway to heaven.
Look, I had to start here. I mean, come on, this is the song, right? 8.5 minutes that took rock music to church. It opens with that delicate acoustic guitar, almost like a whisper, with John Paul Jones's recorders weaving in, and then it builds into this absolute monster. The way it progresses through distinct movements, from folk to hard rock, was unheard of for a single track on an album. Jimmy Page's iconic guitar solo at the end? That's not just great playing. That's pure lightning captured on tape, a masterclass in melodic development and sheer intensity, cementing his place as a guitar god.
In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird.
Every guitarist I know learned this song. Hell, every guitarist who doesn't know this song is probably learning it right now. But here's the thing. Yes, it's the ultimate rock epic. But did you know Jimmy Page stole it? The haunting intro bears an uncanny resemblance to Spirit's Taurus in 1968, a band Zeppelin had toured with. Decades later, a massive lawsuit ensued, though Zeppelin ultimately prevailed.
And it makes me wonder.
Beyond the controversy, Stairway was a daring gamble. An 8-minute opus never released as a single, yet dominating radio through sheer listener demand. It proved rock could be both sacred and sinful, blending medieval folk with pagan hedonism and setting a new bar for ambition in rock.
I get when I look to the west.
Baba O'Riley, The Who. Pete Townshend's opening synthesizer notes in Baba O'Riley hit like a revelation. Those pulsing, arpeggiated Moog patterns slicing through the air with a futuristic edge that was pure 1971 genius. From The Who's Who's Next, this track was a game changer, blending raw rock energy with electronic innovation. When Keith Moon's explosive drums kick in, it's like a freight train barreling through, capturing the restless spirit of youth, frustration, rebellion, and all. Roger Daltrey's vocals strike a perfect balance of vulnerability and raw power, carrying the song's emotional weight. Conceived as part of Townshend's ambitious Lifehouse project, a sci-fi rock opera about virtual reality and digital transcendence, decades ahead of its time. The song's title nods to Meher Baba, Townshend's spiritual guide, and Terry Riley, the minimalist composer who inspired those hypnotic synth loops. The iconic violin solo at the end? That's Dave Arbus from East of Eden, a last-minute addition because Moon couldn't stand the synthetic demo and demanded something organic. The result is a controlled frenzy. Moon tearing into his kit, the fiddle soaring, and the band delivering rock and roll with a cyberpunk soul before the term even existed. Baba O'Riley proved synthesizers weren't just a gimmick. They could be the rhythmic and melodic backbone of a timeless rock anthem. Won't Get Fooled Again, The Who. Same album, same band, but this one hits completely different. This is angry rock, political rock. The synthesizer parts here are even more massive and intricate than Baba O'Riley, providing a sweeping, almost orchestral foundation. The guitar is crushing, and then there's that scream, you know the one. Daltrey just tears his vocal cords apart in the song's climax, a primal yell that became instantly iconic. He nearly passed out recording it, pouring every ounce of disillusionment into that single iconic moment. This wasn't just a song about not getting fooled again. It was the sound of a generation that had already been fooled once by broken promises and escalating wars, and they weren't having it anymore. Its epic structure and powerful message, punctuated by those incredible instrumental breaks, made it a definitive statement on the disillusionment of the era. The ultimate irony? This anti-revolution anthem became a stadium rallying cry for generations of rebels. Brown Sugar, the Rolling Stones. Now this is the Stones, at their absolute peak, kicking off Sticky Fingers with a swagger that's infectious. Mick Jagger's sneering vocals, Keith Richards' instantly recognizable raunchy guitar riff that just grabs you by the throat and doesn't let go. It's raw, it's dangerous, and it's got that loose, lived-in feeling that only the Stones could pull off. This track, recorded partially at Muscle Shoals Sound Studio, drips with authentic, gritty blues rock energy. This song is all attitude. From the opening guitar lick to Jagger's provocative lyrics, it's the sound of rock and roll with its shirt off and its fists up. Sticky Fingers was already a masterpiece with tracks like Wild Horses and Dead Flowers. But Brown Sugar was the Stones reminding everyone who ran the show, cementing their status as the world's greatest rock and roll band. But then, there's the song they wish they could erase. That riff is undeniable, but the lyrics? A grotesque cocktail of slavery, interracial sex, and heroin. So shocking even Jagger later cringed, admitting he would never write that song now. The original demo actually had Eric Clapton on slide guitar, but the final, grittier version was cut at Muscle Shoals Sound Studio, where the Stones recorded in a reported cocaine-fueled frenzy. The blistering sax solo? That's Bobby Keys, so drunk he could barely stand. It's a masterpiece of moral decay, proving rock could be simultaneously brilliant and reprehensible. Riders on the Storm, The Doors. Man, this one still gives me chills. Morrison's ominous farewell. Recorded just weeks before his death, Jim's whispered vocals were dubbed last minute over Manzarek's jazz noir arrangement, giving it an otherworldly, spectral quality. The atmospheric rain sounds that permeate the track? That's not a sound effect. It's a Fender Rhodes electric piano run through a Hammond organ speaker for an eerie, shimmering effect.
His brain is squirming like a toad.
Critics at the time called it elevator music for Satan, but it became one of the Doors' biggest hits because America was ready to embrace the darkness.
If you give this man a ride, sweet memories.
The final lyrics repeated like a mantra, "Girl, you gotta love your man," a chilling prophetic epitaph for rock's doomed poet. Highway Star, Deep Purple. Highway Star from Deep Purple's Machine Head is pure, unfiltered adrenaline. A blistering anthem that cranked hard rock into overdrive and laid the groundwork for speed metal. Legend has it, the song was born on a tour bus when a Japanese journalist challenged the band to write a track about cars. What started as an impromptu jam became a rocket-fueled classic, a live staple that defined Deep Purple's raw power and became a blueprint for future metal bands. Ritchie Blackmore's guitar work is nothing short of jaw-dropping. His Bach-inspired solo blending classical precision with unrelenting rock aggression. Ian Gillan's vocals are a force of nature, hitting operatic highs that defy human limits, delivering a performance that's as commanding as it is electrifying. And let's not forget John Lord's Hammond organ, cranked through Marshall amps to roar like a jet engine, giving the song its relentless drive. Highway Star is like strapping yourself to a motorcycle and flooring it. No brakes, no apologies. It proved that technical virtuosity and raw, unadulterated fury could collide to create something truly groundbreaking, setting the stage for thrash metal long before Metallica picked up their guitars. Aqualung, Jethro Tull.
Sitting on the park bench.
Ian Anderson took folk music, his signature flute, and ran it through a Marshall stack. That flute of his cutting through Martin Barr's heavy guitar work. It shouldn't work, but it absolutely does, creating a unique texture.
Greasy fingers smearing shabby.
The song, the title track from their album, tells this powerful story about homelessness and societal judgment that's still relevant today. But it does it with incredible musical sophistication. The way it shifts between acoustic folk passages and crushing electric riffs, soft and heavy, often mid-song, was a revelation. Jethro Tull was showing everyone that prog rock could have a social conscience, blend diverse instrumentation, and still rock your face off with complex, dynamic arrangements.
Sun streaking clouds, an old man.
But here's the kicker. Ian Anderson swears it's not about homelessness at all. Just a creepy old man he saw outside a recording studio in London, inspiring the character. The flute metal fusion that became their trademark was accidental. Engineers cranked the guitars so loud the flute had to fight through the distortion to be heard. Critics at the time called it pretentious due to its complex structure and lyrical depth, but it became Tull's signature, proving rock could be both literary and brutal. Echoes, Pink Floyd. 23 minutes. No traditional verse-chorus structure, just pure sonic exploration filling an entire side of the metal album. This is Pink Floyd at their most ambitious, building these massive soundscapes that take you on an extended, evolving journey. Let's talk about the 23-minute Alien transmission. That distinctive ping at the very start of the song. That's a grand piano, mic'd through a Leslie speaker to create that ethereal, sonar-like sound. The haunting whale sounds in the middle section, that's actually David Gilmour's guitar through a wah pedal, manipulated to mimic animal calls. And the long, atmospheric middle section, often criticized as filler, that was composed from random studio experiments and jams spliced together. This wasn't just music, it was sonic alchemy, predicting ambient, post-rock, and cinematic psychedelia decades early. This wasn't radio rock, this was album rock, concert rock. It was David Gilmour saying, "We weren't looking for hits, we were trying to make music that transported people." It laid crucial groundwork for their later masterpieces like The Dark Side of the Moon. Black Dog Led Zeppelin. The rhythm on this thing is absolutely bonkers. A deliberate, intricate interplay that defies a simple time signature. It stops, it starts, it messes with your head, but somehow it grooves harder than anything else they ever did. Robert Plant sounds possessed. His call and response vocals with the guitar riff are legendary. John Paul Jones's bass line is this incredible syncopated maze. And Bonham, man, John Bonham was an absolute force of nature on the drums, making that complex rhythm feel effortless. The name itself, it was named after a literal black dog that wandered into Headley Grange, the old mansion where they were recording. The constantly shifting 5/4 groove of the main riff was specifically designed to trip up cover bands trying to play it. Robert Plant's electrifying, one-take vocals for the entire song. Legend has it, he was quite drunk on Brandy Alexander's during the recording. The result? Pure chaos disguised as genius, cementing their reputation for technical virtuosity, wrapped in raw power. This is Led Zeppelin, showing off their unparalleled musicianship and chemistry, but in the best possible way. Technical virtuosity, wrapped up in a song that'll make you move whether you want to or not, proving their mastery beyond simple blues rock. Children of the Grave, Black Sabbath. This wasn't just another Sabbath track. It was the war cry of a generation sick of being drafted, lied to, and left to rot. While Sweet Leaf laid the groundwork for doom, Children of the Grave is where heavy metal took its first full-formed, marching, militant steps. Forget the bluesy despair of earlier albums. This was a driving, apocalyptic charge, a sonic middle finger to the establishment. Tony Iommi's guitars didn't just riff, they charged, galloping like tanks through a battlefield with that relentless, driving rhythm. Listen to that opening riff, how it immediately grabs you with its urgency, a stark contrast to the sludgier tracks. Bill Ward's drums weren't just keeping time, they sounded like the boots of the damned, a percussive assault that pushed the tempo and ferocity to new extremes. And Ozzy? He wasn't just singing, he was warning, his voice laced with a primal urgency. Revolution in their minds wasn't just poetry, it was prophecy for a disillusioned youth. Lyrically, it completely flips the peace and love mantra of the 60s on its head. Sabbath weren't asking for peace, they were demanding change, echoing the growing anti-war sentiment of the time with lines like, "They'll never win the fight or we must unite." It's radical, it's relentless, and it's raw. This song directly influenced the nascent thrash and speed metal scenes. Without this specific track, you genuinely don't get Metallica, Pantera, or Slayer. Period. This wasn't just the sound of metal. It was its mission statement, outlining its rage, power, and defiant spirit. Roundabout, yes, Roundabout shouldn't have worked. It's 8 minutes long. The time signatures are weird and constantly shifting. The lyrics talk about abstract concepts like mountains, lakes, and light through leaves, bordering on the esoteric. And yet, it not only became a hit on FM radio, but became one of progressive rock's most recognizable anthems. This was prog rock's ultimate magic trick, making incredibly complex music sound epic, uplifting, and yes, catchy as hell. Steve Howe's iconic acoustic intro with its intricate fingerpicking was directly inspired by a late-night drive through the misty Scottish Highlands, giving it an immediate sense of journey and atmosphere. And that winding, almost orchestral bass line from Chris Squire, it's practically its own melody, growling underneath like a second lead guitar, a revolutionary approach to the instrument. The song builds like a symphony, from those opening acoustic flourishes to dynamic shifts featuring powerful organ stabs from Rick Wakeman, impossibly layered harmonies from the entire band, and sudden jazzy transitions that keep you on your toes. The way producer Eddie Offord stitched it all together with razor precision, turning what could have been chaos into majestic cohesion, was pivotal. Yes weren't trying to write a hit. They were trying to build entire sonic worlds, pushing the boundaries of rock composition. And somehow, they did both. Roundabout didn't just bring progressive rock to mainstream FM radio. It proved that audiences were ready for music that challenged, expanded, and flat-out defied expectations. This wasn't just a song, it was a labyrinth, and people absolutely loved getting lost in it.
It's a god-awful small affair.
Life on Mars? David Bowie. Now we're getting into the weird stuff. Bowie was already starting to experiment with glam rock, but this song is just, it's otherworldly. From Hunky Dory, the lyrics make no logical sense in a linear way, but emotionally they're perfect. A surreal stream of consciousness reflecting on culture and alienation. It's like Bowie was channeling some alien frequency that only he could hear, delivered with a theatrical flourish. The intricate string arrangements by Mick Ronson are sweeping and dramatic, creating a truly cinematic feel. Bowie's vocal performance is simply stunning, showcasing his incredible range and emotive power. This is art rock at its finest, a flamboyant, intellectual, and deeply moving piece. Bowie showing everyone that rock could be theatrical, sophisticated, and still completely authentic in its emotional impact. Here's the fascinating backstory. Bowie famously wrote it as a parody of My Way, specifically as a response to his publisher asking him to write a similar hit. Yet, it became his most achingly beautiful ballad. The surreal, evocative lyrics? Bowie claims he scribbled them down in about 10 minutes over a cup of coffee. And the lush, cinematic string arrangements by Mick Ronson? Those were reportedly arranged in under an hour. It's proof that accidental genius often beats calculated perfection, launching Bowie into the stratosphere of art rock. Bang a gong, get it on, T-Rex. Mark Bolan was cool before cool was even invented, a true rock and roll shaman. This song is all swagger and style, with that incredible, instantly recognizable guitar riff that's deceptively simple but incredibly effective. Bolan's vocals are half singing, half purring, oozing charisma. It's glam rock at its foundational best, but it's also just great greasy rock and roll with a boogie rhythm. The production by Tony Visconti is perfect. Everything sits exactly where it should be, giving it that raw, live-in-the-studio feel. It's simple, it's effective, and it's got that indefinable thing that makes you want to move. This is rock music as pure, unadulterated seduction, kicking off the glam rock explosion and proving that rock could be playful and sexy. But let's get into the glam rock Big Bang. That iconic riff? Some argue it was borrowed from a 1950s blues song like Dust My Broom. And the actual title, Bang a Gong, that was lifted directly from a Chuck Berry lyric from Little Queenie. Bolan didn't care about such things. He turned plagiarism into alchemy, creating the first true glam rock anthem that exploded across the airwaves. Without it, there's no Bowie, no Queen, no rock as flamboyant, theatrical showmanship. It was a massive hit that launched the entire glam rock movement. There you have it. 13 songs that didn't just define 1971. They redefined what rock music could be. This was the year the floodgates truly opened for diverse sounds and ambitious songwriting. Every single one of these tracks pushed boundaries. Some went heavier, some went weirder, some went more sophisticated. But they all had one thing in common. They weren't content to just repeat what came before. They were looking for something new, something that hadn't been done yet. Driven by an explosion of creativity and a willingness to experiment with form and content. What's your favorite track from 1971? Did we miss a 1971 game changer that absolutely should have been on this list? Let's argue in the comments below. I read every single one. Hit that like button if this brought back some memories. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into rock history. And keep it locked here at WoodsRock, where we celebrate the music that changed everything. Until next time, keep rockin'.